Inevitable, Prince Andrew will end life in exile as history looks certain to repeat itself. It is inevitable Prince Andrew will spend the rest of his life in exile abroad, a royal expert has claimed. And that could see history repeating itself as he follows in the footsteps of his grandfather. The Duke of York, 64, has been widely tipped to flee the UK amid a scandal surrounding his friendship with an alleged Chinese spy. We told how the Middle East is an option while he has already seemingly been handed the use of an opulent royal palace in Abu Dhabi. In an interview with the Sunday Express, royal author Nigel Cawthorne believes France and Switzerland are also options, but wherever he goes, he is destined for a very low-profile existence. Mr. Cawthorne said that would see Andrew follow in the footsteps of his namesake Prince Andrew of Greece and Denmark, who was banished for life from Greece in 1922 for disobeying a military command during an attempted coup. Hello viewers, please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. Andrew, father to the late Prince Philip, did return to the country on brief occasions but spent most of his life living a playboy lifestyle on the French Riviera before dying from a heart attack aged 62 in Monte Carlo in 1944. Mr. Cawthorne said, "While our Prince Andrew won't be kicked out of his own country, I believe he has reached the conclusion it is inevitable he must leave our shores. There's no way back to the life he had." It follows a YouGov poll which suggested 69% of people think Andrew should be permanently removed from royal events. As well as the spy scandal, Andrew was famously friends with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He was forced to pay a sex trafficking victim £12 million out of court after she claimed she and the Duke had sex 3 times, although Andrew denies this. Mr. Cawthorne said, had he handled things differently, such as agreeing to be interviewed by the FBI in the Epstein case and not agreeing to his trainwreck interview on Newsnight, then perhaps public perception would be different too. I believe he realizes people are saying enough is enough. Prince Andrew makes key purchase as he continues to disobey King Charles in Row. Prince Andrew has hired a cheap security firm at Royal Lodge after refusing to leave the 30-room mansion. It comes after King Charles told Andrew that he would no longer pay for security and that his £1 million annual allowance would be axed. It is now reported that the Duke of York has negotiated a cheaper protection deal at his leased home in an attempt to stay at the property. A source said, he has his security but at a cheaper rate and he is managing to finance it himself, reports GB News. The Duke of York had relied on funding from his brother since 2022 and his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, since 2019 when he stepped down from royal life after his infamous Newsnight interview. The father of 2 resisted King Charles's attempts to evict him from the Windsor property and has since found alternative funding, as confirmed by the keeper of the Privy Purse, Sir Michael Stevens. Prince Andrew's feud with King Charles set to intensify as key royals left, fuming. The feud began when King Charles tried to evict the disgraced Duke of York from Royal Lodge by cutting his £1 million a year allowance after he refused to downsize. The ongoing feud between Prince Andrew and King Charles is set to intensify, with the princesses said to be fuming over the treatment of their father. Beatrice and Eugenie are reportedly unhappy with the treatment their father, Prince Andrew, has received from the royal family. The feud began when King Charles tried to evict the disgraced Duke of York from Royal Lodge by cutting his £1 million a year allowance and he refused to downsize. The former home of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Frogmore Cottage, was suggested as a suitable replacement for Andrew, who lost his right to taxpayer-funded security after being stripped of his royal duties in 2019. King Charles is understood to have wanted to cut royal costs, especially since Andrew and Fergie no longer work for the institution. The royal source said, Beatrice and Eugenie are rallying around to help support their father. Royal Lodge is viewed as a York family problem, Not just an Andrew problem, and the whole family are chipping in. That includes Sarah, Beatrice and Eugenie, reports GB News. The York family have held several meetings and drawn up a battle plan. They will not allow their family to fall or come up against any more negative press. It's very much a charge led by Beatrice. She's extremely loyal and has taken the reins. The former BBC correspondent, Jenny Bond, previously suggested that Princess Beatrice is in a perfect position to act as a mediator between the brothers, as she is a trusted member of the royal family and remains close with her father. The Duke of York served as the UK's special representative for international trade and investment for 10 years, building up a range of international contacts. The source added, "There are great contacts built up over the years that are still being utilized. Beatrice and Eugenie always feel like they're walking a fine line. It's a difficult balancing act to manage because they want to support the royal family despite not being working royals." The York sisters have received an invitation to join the royal gathering at Sandringham this Christmas, but it is still unclear if the king will invite Prince Andrew. The source told The Express, "The girls also want to forge their own lives and relationships with friends and family without feeling like they're under some sort of control. There is a feeling that the royal family likes to use them, Beatrice and Eugenie, to portray a sense of unity to the public, but it's a different story behind the scenes. It's a constant push and pull scenario for them, which is becoming more and more difficult as time goes on." Prince Andrew calls on Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi for help after winning battle against King Charles. Prince Andrew is calling on Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi to give Royal Lodge a makeover after winning his battle with King Charles to be allowed to stay in the property, sources have claimed. The 40-year-old has been seen regularly visiting Royal Lodge in recent weeks, while a skip was spotted outside the front of the property towards the end of the summer. It comes as Prince Andrew faces calls to reveal the funding sources enabling his stay at Royal Lodge. The king stopped paying his brother's £3 million a year security bill last month and urged him to move into more modest accommodation, as part of a row dubbed the Siege of Royal Lodge. But Andrew has now been allowed to stay at the home in Windsor Great Park after convincing palace officials that he has secured enough funds to support himself. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.